What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to take a look at a full run on the Pestilence event. We have the difficulty 8 and 207 Scourges. This was what I used to get over 1700 points, and that allows me to stay in the top 500 hopefully. So we are going to take a look at the different teams that I used and what kind of strategy I used in order to achieve these. Now after this video I will upload another video, things that you should take into consideration in order to maybe not get top 500, but if you are happy with top 1000 or top 2500, if you follow those tips you might be able to get them more easily. So let's get started, and just really quick, let's take a look at the Scourges that I'm using, or let's take a look at the Scourges that I'm not using because they are a lot less. Okay, so we are not using the 10% extra HP, we are not using the 20% extra HP on the enemies, we are not using this one, 2 turns of speed on the enemies, it's very difficult. This one with the immunity on spawn, very difficult as well to deal with. This one, the bleeder, it's not the worst. This one right here, it's not the worst, but really depends. But it's a possibility. Blinded with power, this one is not terrible either. This one, experimental serum, 30% more HP, is not terrible either, but we are avoiding those as much as possible. The end is near. This one applies trauma to your team if you have less than 50% HP. I don't like that one at all. And then we have this one with 2 turns of heal block. Now there are strategies that you can use around these different Scourges. You can use, if you are a whale, you can do most of the Scourges and get like an insane amount of points. But this has been so frustrating that I don't want to touch this event anymore. Or maybe I'll touch it in the future. I will make a video in the future with different strategies. I just can't talk about them right now. I promise that I will not talk about them right now. Unfortunately it has to be the case because of this leaderboard. We are all competing against each other, and the difference between top 500 and not top 500 is the difference between having Morgan Le Fay at 7 yellow or not. So unfortunately, because of this situation, I cannot show to you like the best strategy possible to get an insane amount of points. Okay, so let's get started. This was the presentation. Let's get started and see the different teams that I used on these nodes. This is going to take a long time. This is going to be a long video. It's a full run with all the parts that are counted, all the parts that matter. Okay, so for the first node we can use only heroes, and I decided to ship away a little bit this node. We are going to use the X Factor plus Shang-Chi and the Hawkeye, so we can do a bunch of damage to the enemies and just leave the last remaining enemies with a little bit of health, so we can charge up the cooldowns of some of our web warriors. So we use the Hawkeye early on Lady Deathstrike, so we can apply vulnerability to her and also turn rewind hers, and that will give us a chance to go with our X Factor and do some nice damage to them. Then we have Shang-Chi doing the turn rewind, doing some big damage, and also healing is very important for you to set up this. So after, you need to focus as much as possible on Lady Deathstrike. You don't want her to have any turn, so you focus on much as possible on her, you get rid of her, and after you do with the remaining enemies, so Lady Deathstrike and Psylocke are 2 of the characters that you need to focus on as fast as possible. Then you have the second wave. On the second wave you want to focus on Shatterstar and on Polaris. You also don't want Polaris because she gives barrier and she also applies disrupt to your team, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. You have Yo-Yo here. Yo-Yo, she can help you by doing less damage, and you can set up your cooldowns a little bit better because of that. So it's up to you. if you want to deal with Yo-Yo, or if you don't want to deal with Yo-Yo, but you want at least to remove Polaris and Shatterstar, so whenever the third wave, which has Longshot, goes down, you don't have way too many X-Factor characters to deal with. Okay, so now we are going to charge up some of our characters. We have the Dr. Voodoo, we have Scarlet Spider, we have Ghost Spider, we have Nick Fury, and Kestrel. Now, you need to set up the ultimate with her, it's very important, and also the ultimate with Scarlet Spider. The other characters is not important. Dr. Voodoo, it's nice if you can charge up his ultimate. If you can just add up 1 energy or 2 energy to him, that's going to be helpful as well. One of the Scourges that we are using, it's the one that applies ability block to us whenever you use the special. And that means that even if you don't have the ultimate ready, you'll not be able to use it anyway. And that's why you don't need to charge him as much as the other characters. But once again, what's important is to charge up the ultimate with the Ghost Spider and with Scarlet Spider. So after we have a good chance of doing the node number 5. Okay, so in terms of the enemies, we had some X Factor, like I said. We still had a little bit of Shatterstar, we still had a little bit of we had full Longshot, but you try to remove Longshot as fast as possible. You try to stop the Sabertooth from doing big damage, and then you are done here. Okay, so as you can see, in terms of the efficiency points, doing double tap gives you more points than otherwise, which is super lame, makes no sense, but that's the way it is. Okay, so now we are going for node number 2, and on node number 2 I like to use this team, Eternals with New Warriors, and that's it. You always need Eternals. New Warriors might not be necessary, but you always need Eternals. You always need to focus on Mary Hill and on Ebony Maw. You don't want Ebony Maw to apply slow to your characters, otherwise you are doomed. And you also have to deal with this Colin Wing and the Misty Knight, which you don't want to deal with. You want to stop them as much as you can. And this is why the New Warriors here are very convenient. You have Cloak and Dagger that can apply blind to them and make this fight very easy. Now you can use Deadpool to give more HP to them, but it's not super relevant. So if you prefer, instead of using Silver Surfer or using Kestrel or something like this, those are fine options as well. You can also use Phyla-Vell here. Phyla-Vell is very good together with the Eternals, because whenever they have death proof, they will also get Rain, so that's a good combination of characters as well. In terms of the enemies, like I said, you have to focus as fast as possible on Ebony Maw and on Mary Hill. Then you have to remove Colin Wing. Misty Knight is not super important. Then you have Captain Sam is going to do his ultimate, that's fine. You have to deal with Sharon Carter eventually after, but it's not a big deal anyway. We have Red Guardian, it's not a big deal anyway. You can ship them away slowly and you can get rid of them at the same time, and that's going to be very inconvenient when the next wave drops, because when the next wave drops you don't want to have any character that taunts around to block you from attacking the last wave. Okay, so here we are shipping away the Red Guardian and the Captain Sam, like I was mentioning. So now we are going to drop the third wave, and on this third wave we have White Tiger, we have this Shield Trooper in the middle, and we have the Moon Knight. Black Widow, you can ignore her after she does her special and the ultimate, it's not super relevant. And here what you want to do is, with the Eternals, you want to flip the offense up from White Tiger and from Moon Knight into offense down. After you are done with that, easy time. You can even focus on the Shield Trooper and remove him or apply offense down to him if you are using Phyla-Vell. so his retaliation attacks are not like super annoying. So it's a good way to deal with them. But in terms of characters, you should prioritize, go for White Tiger and go for Moon Knight. That are the characters that do the most damage. But like I said, if you flip the offense up into offense down, there is nothing that you have to worry about in this last wave. Okay, so let's go, let's ship them away and go for the third node on this Pestilence event. So as you can see, pretty smooth. Even with the 200 plus scourges, we are doing fine. Here, because we one-shot the node, we get less points of efficiency. Yes, it makes zero sense, but the developers have mentioned that this is not supposed to work like this. Okay, nice. And they will fix it in the future. Thank you. Okay, so we are going for the third node, and on this third node you can only use global characters. So the best global characters are Weapon X and some of the Darkhold characters. So that's what we are using. Silver Samurai, still very underrated. People are sleeping on this guy. Then we have Wolverine, very, very strong as well. We have Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike, and we have Morgan Le Fay. You can also use Agatha Harkness instead of Wolverine. That makes this node extremely easy. And you can see the enemies. They are all full of bleeds and they will just bleed out and die. And that makes the fight super, super easy. Miles is very, very problematic. You have to deal with him as fast as possible. You don't want him to be spamming disrupts all the time, because that's going to be a problem for your Lady Deathstrike and for your Wolverine. Because they get the dodges, they get the defense ups, and you don't want to deal with any of that. Now, Silver Samurai has something very interesting, that one of the scourges is if you block, you get stunned. In this case, this is good because he will keep blocking. He has very, very high armor. So that's not a problem at all for Silver Samurai. And if you can manage your energy, you can use Miles to slow Silver Samurai and turn rewind, so he tanks even for a longer time. And you have to face no damage from the enemy. So as you can see, very, very easy. And if you have any emergency, you can always use the special from Morgan Le Fay and turn rewind all the enemies. This is especially good if you have done the special with Omega Red before or after, so yeah, speed up and then you can continue. Okay, so Silver Samurai died, that's fine, you don't have to worry about him. You can use other characters in the future. The characters that you need alive is Morgan Le Fay, Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike. And once again, because it doesn't matter in terms of efficiency points, if one of your characters dies or not, it's mostly irrelevant. So if you know that you can lose one of the characters, then that's just fine. Okay, so lastly we have the two Daredevils. If the Daredevil has offense down, it's not a big deal, so we can move on. Okay, so that was node number 3. Now we're going to take a look at node number 4. And because we lost Silver Samurai, we are going to use another character. And let's see which character I decided to take. Probably Agatha Harkness. Let's see who it was. Once again, you can only use global characters, but you can use heroes together with villains. Oh, okay, so this is the node number 4, yes. So this is the node where you face Black Bolt and Power Armor. And Karnak is very, very annoying here. And you definitely need to use your Morgan Le Fay to deal with those Karnaks. They are very, very annoying. Okay, so I took a team without Morgan Le Fay, so I'm gonna have a hard time here. And I wanted to use Captain Sam and Mary Hill so we can use some hero characters, so you don't have to waste all the villain characters. Okay, so Captain Sam, Mary Hill, Omega Red, Jubilee, and Beast. So with Omega Red, you want to apply offense down to the Karnaks and also do some big damage to them. You can also use Morgan Le Fay here and stop the Karnaks. It's very, very important that you can stop these Karnaks, or with offense down, or with stuns, or with ability blocks, or with blinds. That's why we have Jubilee here, so we can blind those Karnaks. I use the stun on Black Bolt. You don't want Black Bolt to burp on us. You don't want Black Bolt to kill your minions. You want to have as many minions as possible. So you need to apply the stun to Black Bolt. And this should be one of your priority targets. The priority targets here are Black Bolt and the Karnaks. After that, you want to blind the things or offense down to them and then ship them away slowly. Juggernaut, as long as he doesn't have taunt, it's not a huge problem, and Colossus, as long as he doesn't have taunt, it's not a huge problem either. What you really want to do is to save the ultimate with Omega Red, so when the second wave drops, the wave with the power armor characters, you can apply ability block to rescue. Yes, you want to apply ability block to rescue, and preferably you want to apply blind to War Machine and to Ironheart. Those two characters, they are very, very problematic, but if you blind them, if you turn rewind them, it's not going to be a problem at all, because after they do their ultimates is not a huge deal. Okay, so here we are still dealing with the two Karnaks. This node took a little bit longer because once again we are relying on this strategy of applying the blinds. We are using more strategy than brute force, but you can definitely brute force this node if you bring full Weapon X here, Sabertooth, Wolverine, Lady Deathstrike, Omega Red and Silver Samurai. You can completely destroy this node. So there are many options. I just try to use these different options because I wanted to save as much as possible the Weapon X characters since I lost my Silver Samurai for the villain nodes. If you bring Agatha Harkness here and Morgan Le Fay does quick work of these Karnaks, and Agatha Harkness, you should save her stun to do or to rescue or to Ironheart, depending on which one you can deal with other characters at the same time. So if you stun one, you want to ability block the other. This is all depends if you are not using Jubilee and Beast, but I decided to use this team because I thought it was better for a video, and most of the people already invested on Jubilee and Beast, so these are definitely good options that most people should have available. Okay, so we are shipping away the Colossus. We still have one Karnak there, but he is very, very low, so whenever we do the ultimate with Omega Red, he should be removed from the match. But as you can see, he's being problematic. He killed some of the minions, and you have to remember that whenever some of these minions die, they are giving energy to the enemies, and that's not a bad thing, because if they are full of energy all the time, you can always expect their ultimate. Some characters have ultimates worse than others. For example, Colossus, his ultimate is fine to deal with, that's why we can keep him for last. But other characters like Ironheart, like Rescue, their ultimates are quite annoying, so you don't want them to do any of those, and that's why you have to ability block them or blind them or stun them. Okay, so now it's the time we use the big ultimate with Omega Red, applies slow to everyone, flips the defense ups into defense downs, and also applies ability block. We ability block Rescue. Now we are blinding Ironheart, so we have nothing to worry about with her. We still want to remove her, and then we want to remove War Machine. Now, depending on how low, and if you landed the ability block on Rescue, you might have to prioritize her first, but it's all depending on who got ability block, who got blinded, and if that's not a problem, once again prioritize Ironheart and War Machine. The two things, as you can see, like, they are not a big problem. If you blind them, they don't do any damage, even with the retaliation effect. Now we lost Beast, That's fine, it doesn't matter for the efficiency score or whatever. And unfortunately or fortunately, we are one-shotting this node, so we are going to get less points. Surprise, surprise, and and that's it. Okay, so we are slowly getting rid of Rescue. She did her ultimate, that's fine. We don't have any other power armor characters here to deal with. At this point is pretty much irrelevant. She still removes the negative effects from the two things that we have on the field, but because they are like super slow, it's not a huge problem. You can just ignore them and apply blind to them once again, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so Iron Man is here. Let's just remove him. He's very slow. He does mostly single target damage, so there is nothing to worry about him. He's not a dangerous character, so we can just ignore him. Save him for last. Save the legendary for last and put him to rest with a real legendary like Omega Red, of course. Okay, so that was node number 5, and now we are going for the infamous. That was node number 4. Now we are going for the infamous node number 5, where you have to use Web Warriors or Dark Hunters. And I have mentioned this before in one of my videos. You have 6.25% chance of having a good attempt on this node. 6.25% of having a good attempt on this node. This is 100% disgusting. The Pestilence event, these kind of events, the Scourge events, the difficulty should come from the Scourges and not from luck. This is 100% luck. You need this guy, you need OG Spider-Man to dodge the first attack. So after you can apply vulnerability to Red Guardian and spread the offense down, the defense down and slow to everyone. Because this guy has the tag, Miles will be able to use the isolate attack to remove the taunt, and then because you remove the taunt, you can access the other enemies that you need to attack. So after this, you want to apply ability block to Dagger. This is going to be very, very important. Ability block to Dagger, so she doesn't destroy you with her ultimate. And then you want to use the ultimate with the Scarlet Spider and try to destroy Kitty Pryde or Dagger or Strife. You also need to deal with Strife because he's going to do his ultimate that does big damage and also applies ability block to you. You don't need unnecessary ability blocks, and the attack from Strife, it does double tap, so you can dodge the ability block, but you still take the damage on the face, so it's a very, very problematic ability. So priority targets: Kitty Pryde, Dagger and Strife. After that you want to deal with Star-Lord T'Challa, and then you have Cloak. Now if you can ability block Cloak or stun him, stunning is a good option with OG Spider-Man. You can also do the special with Miles and turn rewind him with slow, giving you time to recover a little bit of your health. And then you just want to make sure that Nick Fury, right here, that you use the Miles basic or use the skirmisher attacks to make sure that he doesn't have any buffs to spread to the allies. Otherwise, these characters with buffs are going to be quite dangerous. So yeah, okay, so now we are just on saving the cooldowns mode. I'm going to use the basic on Nick Fury to remove his buffs, to make sure that he doesn't spread those buffs with anyone. You want to recover as much health as possible, and you want to make sure that OG Spider-Man has the special ready. Very, very important to have the special ready. It's also going to be very, very important for Ghost Spider to have her ultimate ready. Some people like to waste her ultimate here. I don't think that's a good idea to waste her ultimate, but it's up to the people if they want to do that or not. I think using the ultimate of Ghost Spider here makes the node number 10 extremely hard, and that's unnecessary. So yeah, like the node itself is not super hard. What is hard is to have a good attempt. You really need OG Spider-Man to go first, and even that his speed is supposedly 122, that is only after the first character takes a turn, and that means that he will only become 122 speed after he takes his first turn. So it takes a very long time. It's only becoming noticeable after the third turn. It's a very stupid way that they fix this character. In my opinion, it's 100% trash. But yeah, it's unfair difficulties for no reason and make this node a lot harder. If his speed was actually 122 speed, it was not required to have this 6% chance of you having a... it's just having a chance. You are just having a chance to attempt the node. So it's ridiculous, makes no sense. And on paper it works fine because his speed is 122, but in reality is not. And that's why you have 6% chance. It's disgusting. It makes this node so hard unnecessarily. And once again it shows the lack of competence of Boundless and the lack of communication between departments, because definitely the people who designed these and the people that designed the characters, they didn't have the ideas properly. Because if the people that are designing the Scourge look at the speed of Spider-Man and they see 122 speed, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. But as we know, it's not factual, it's fake news, it's bullshit, and yeah, they developed this node based on that fact, on the fact that Spider-Man is 122 speed, and it's just not. Okay, so node number 6, I'm going to use the black order here just to ship away a little bit of the enemies, and we are just going to do this because this is like a easier node, and that allows us to get a little bit more points, which is important. Once again, we are competing on a leaderboard, and the higher you get, the more rewards you get, so that's exactly why we are doing this. You can one-shot this node fairly easy, but once again, it's so ridiculous, and so yeah, we have to do for more points. Okay, so what you want to do is for Cull Obsidian to get attacked by Captain Marvel with the first attack. You can also have Thanos to be attacked by Captain Marvel. The other three characters, Proxima, Corvus and Ebony Maw, you don't want them to get attacked by Captain Marvel. Then you want to remove I don't know, you have to remove Star-Lord. You want to remove Star-Lord and Rocket. They do a lot of damage, very unnecessary damage, so if you can deal with that, that's fine. Now, like I mentioned, we are using two teams. If you want one-shot the node, it's actually a lot easier. You can just apply offense down to them with like Agatha Harkness. You apply offense down to everyone for 2 turns, and you one-shot the node fairly easy. But once again, we are double tapping because we have to get more points, and this was a good way. You want to make sure that you use the ultimate with the Ebony Maw, and as you can see, we have a lot of enemies on the field, but 2 of them are clones. So there is nothing you have to worry about. After Star-Lord and Rocket are gone, you want to make sure that Black Bolt is gone as well. And after is just a bunch of low damage characters and support characters, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so as you can see, we have Double Crystal, we have Groot, we have Mr. Sinister, 4 characters very easy to deal with, 4 characters with very long cooldowns, and then we have Captain Marvel. She already used a special, and even if she has not a special, she already used the ultimate, and even if she has the ultimate ready, you are going to take your Weapon X characters, Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth. They all come with the defense up or with ways of mitigating damage, so there is nothing you have to worry about. Like I mentioned, we are going to use Agatha Harkness and Morgan Le Fay. They make this node extremely easy. You can one-shot this node by just using this team. Instead of Sabretooth, use Silver Samurai. Or you can also use Doctor Doom here. Captain Marvel, she can attack your Doctor Doom, and that will activate his ultimate, and you just blow up and you win. This node is extremely easy. We are getting into all this trouble just to get a little bit more points. This is such a dumb system, but I'm glad that they addressed this and that it will be fixed in the future. So if you want to get more points this time, use 2 teams. Otherwise, just use 1 team and you'll be good to go. Okay, so now we are done with the villain nodes. We are going to start the cosmic part. The cosmic nodes, that's going to be node number 7 and number 8. And once again, this is extremely easy. This event is all about the node number 5 and node number 10. Everything else is easy. Even if you have all the scourges, if you have like 250 scourges or whatever, it's going to be extremely easy. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. I didn't notice which team we are using. Okay, we are still doing the villain nodes. So yeah, this node is extremely easy. Doctor Doom, Agatha Harkness. We are also using Emma Frost here, and Omega Red and Lady Deathstrike. So we are going to slow the enemies. We are going to apply a bunch of negative effects to them. You want to deal with Silver Surfer, with Deathpool, and with Psylocke. Psylocke, very annoying. You want to make sure that she has ability block with trauma, so she doesn't do anything funny. With Silver Surfer, you can apply blind to him, or you can do whatever you want to him. You just want to make sure that he is not like too annoying. Now, Deathpool, if you are using Doctor Doom, you need to focus on Deathpool as much as possible, because when you explode the Doom bots, she will destroy your team. So you want to make sure that she is removed. If she is not removed, this will happen. She'll keep attacking your team, and that's going to be a huge problem. So we already lost 2 characters. You want to avoid that as much as possible. Once again, focus on Deathpool, apply blind to her, apply offense down to her, stun her, but better than stun is to just kill her. Okay, so now my game crashed, as you can see right here. I didn't want it to start over again, but you have Loki, you have Cable, you have Negasonic, and you have Deathpool. So you want to focus on Loki, make sure that he has ability block, so he doesn't use his special on you, and also not the ultimate. Then you want to focus on Cable, so it doesn't turn rewinds you, and that's it. Loki, Cable. Then you can deal with Deathpool, so he doesn't do his ultimate or special. The special, it's the more problematic one. And Negasonic, you can just ignore her. Okay, so now we are here on the Cosmic Lane. Finally, these 2 Cosmic nodes. They are extremely easy. You can use 2 teams if you want. You can use the Infinity Watch, or you can use a team with the Eternals. Once again, a good combination of characters is Phyla-Vell with Eternals. Eternals, Phyla-Vell, Deathpool, that's a good combination. And you can also add Adam Warlock there, that's a good team as well. Infinity Watch, they can easily one-shot the first node. The second node, not so much, because they will not have full health, and they are not so great there. But on this specific node, especially because you are facing Omega Red, they are great because you'll have a safeguard, and that will protect your characters. You also have Phyla-Vell with the special that is able to remove the negative effects from the team, and you are good to go. Now, you have to be careful with Moondragon. Some people like to remove Moondragon. That's okay. You just have to be careful, because whenever you use the special, she applies the flex to your team, and that can stun some of your characters. Now, if your characters have immunity, you can remove those stuns. If you want to save the special from Phyla-Vell, you can remove those stuns. So it's not a huge problem, and this team is beefy enough to handle with those deflects. You also get deflects whenever the characters go below 50% health, so this is another thing that you have to take into consideration. But as you can see, we are dealing just fine with these, no problems at all. Something you want to do with Gamora is to make sure that She has offense up when you use the special. You really want to do some big damage with that special. And you can use Greg in order to use the ultimate of Gamora and then use her special and do some big damage. So it's all about the turn order. Like always, make sure that you use the ultimate of Psylocke on a character that has buffs, so they get death proof, offense up and defense up. If you do this on a character that does not have positive effects, she will not give death proofs, and these death proofs stack up, so that's legit, so you have a bigger buffer in case one of your characters is dying. Okay, so we are going to finish off this node. This node is like super easy. On the first wave you have to focus on Omega Red. The second wave you have to focus on Hela. There are no like special priority targets or anything. This is a fairly easy node. And like some of the difficulty could be here. We don't need to have all the difficulty on node number 5 and node number 10. Some of the difficulty could be here. But because we have so many powerful characters, we can just destroy this node easily. So yeah, I was trying to take this team and try to fail to get a little bit more points to do a double tap. Unfortunately, it was not the case, which is fairly annoying. It's so strange that being as efficient as possible is a bad thing. But yeah, that's the way it is. Okay, so we are finishing up the node. We have a few minions. We have Vision, we have Scarlet Witch. Like, none of the characters we have to worry about. This is very lame characters. No big source of damage, nothing. We have Heimdall here, like, come on, who cares about Heimdall? Heimdall is actually a helpful character. If he does the ultimate to you, you flip the heal blocks into death proofs, giving you more regen and so on. So it's very, very lame. Now I was not sure if I was going to use the ultimate here or not. I thought if I use the ultimate here, then my characters will be on full health and I'll not be able to double tap the next node. So I didn't use the heal on purpose to make sure that they are low enough, so if I use them on the next node, they will die. And then I can use the Eternals to clean up and get more points. It makes no sense. Okay, so we are done here. Node number 7, I think, or node number 8. Node number 8. So now we are going for node number 9. And as you guys can guess, we are going to use the Infinity Watch. And then we are going to use the Eternals. It's a shame if you are using full Infinity Watch here. Psylocke is very, very good with the Eternals. Very great combination. Deathpool is also a great combination with the Eternals because she gives Drain to Mystic characters. So you can have Psylocke giving Drain to characters with Death Proof, 50% Drain, and then you have Deathpool giving more 10% or 20% Drain with their passive. It's a very, very good combination of characters. So here, once again, I used Infinity Watch. What I should have done is keep Psylocke out and use the other Infinity Watch characters, but that's fine. Like I said, this node is fairly easy. You have some problematic characters here. You have the two Agent Coulsons. They can one-shot one of your characters. If your Eternals are not like 5 yellow, 5 red, they can be one-shotted here, so be careful if your Eternals are lower than 4 yellow, 4 red. It's something that you should pay attention to. And therefore, you want to apply ability block or stun to one of the Agent Coulson characters, and you just want to deal with the other one. Like this, you'll prevent a lot of damage, and your Eternals should be safe. One character that you really want to deal with is Iceman. Iceman can be very, very problematic because of his ultimate, and because one of the Scourges gives him energy, he can spam his ultimate constantly, and having this slow is very problematic. Okay, so now we have the second wave. More problematic characters, some difficulty here. We have Kestrel, we have Mary Hill, and we have Captain Sam somewhere. I cannot see exactly where Captain Sam is. But you want to remove those characters as fast as possible, of course. So the first character you want to remove is Kestrel, then you want to remove Maryhill. Captain Sam, after he uses his ultimate, it's not a big deal, and you can just ignore. Now, one cool thing that you can do here is use the minions from Maryhill to use your Icarus, so you can do a lot more damage to the enemies. So you can do that double tap with the Icarus ultimate. So this is something that you can take advantage of course. So because we are double tapping this node, you can also leave one of the shield troopers low enough, the ones that are not summons, and that will allow you to do some big damage with Icarus and make like this super easy and get some nice efficiency score. Okay, so here we go for the last attack on this node. Like I mentioned, I'm going to use the Eternals, and let's see what other characters I used. Okay, so Eternals with Deadpool, once again great combination because they get the drain. We have Kestrel here. Kestrel together with the Eternals is also very good. And finally, let's see, we can use Strange Supreme here, we can use Silver Surfer, you can use Black Bolt, you can use Star-Lord T'Challa, many good options. Bishop also a good option because you can attack multiple characters with his ultimate, and that will trigger the passive from Kestrel. But I decided to go with the Black Bolt to make sure that he will finish off everyone, and he's also good to deal with the Maryhill in case she summons her minions. Okay, so Killmonger doing his ultimate, this happens quite often. So now we are going to use the ultimate with Icarus. Because we had that shield trooper minion very low, he got destroyed, and Icarus does multiple attacks. Deadpool together with Icarus, great combination because her passive keeps activating. The same goes for Kestrel. Now she's going to apply the defense down on the enemies. The passive will keep activating, and you can see Black Bolt. Black Bolt is just removing people. As soon as they get low, they just get removed, and that's it. Okay, Captain Sam, goodbye. And now we are ready for the last node. And this last node, it took me like, this full run took me like 12 hours plus. The node number 5 and the node number 10, they are just disgusting. You need just the perfect RNG. If on the node number 5 it required you to have 6.2%, on node number 10 you need 4% luck for you to have an attempt. It's not to do the node, you need 4% luck to have an attempt in the node. Okay, so the team I'm using is Ghost Rider, Morbius, Dr. Voodoo, Ghost Spider, and OG Spider-Man. Like this, it's pretty easy. Okay, so you want to apply vulnerability to Colossus, defense down and slow to as many characters as possible. Then you want to apply a bunch of bleeds to Cyclops. You want to mind control Ebony Maw so he gets the immunity removed. That's going to be very important. He's pretty low. And after you want to spread the negative effects from Cyclops to everyone else, or you can use Proxima to everyone else. So depending on how low, if Cyclops is like very low, you want to spread the negative effects from Proxima to everyone else. Now you want to remove Colossus as fast as possible. Some people like to leave Colossus around. I don't like to leave Colossus around at all. I like to remove him as fast as possible. And after Colossus is gone, you want to finish off Ebony Maw and Storm. You really don't want Storm giving assists and speed up to anyone, especially Psylocke. It's very dangerous, so you don't want to do any of that. So we are going to finish off Ebony Maw Colossus, and then we are going after Storm and hopefully also Magic, because Magic is also one of the priority targets. Now, because Magic is slow, she's a very slow character, you don't have to worry too much about her. Think about the characters that give speed up to the others and characters that remove negative effects. Okay, so now we have Psylocke and we have Phoenix. Now, if you are lucky, Psylocke will not spawn with dodge. If she doesn't spawn with dodge, you have a very easy time. You have the stun and you have the ability block with the Web Warriors, Spider-Man and the Ghost Spider, and you can use this stun to stop Psylocke. When you use the ultimate with the OG Spider-Man, that will give energy to Phoenix, and when Phoenix has energy, she will do her ultimate, not her special. So that's why you should stun Psylocke to make safe that you get rid of her, or that you stop her from removing the negative effects from the enemies into your team. Okay, so Ghost Spider died unfortunately. Now we are going to finish off Storm. Once again, she's one of the priority targets because she gives the speed up and she gives the assist. So she's gone. Now we have to deal with Psylocke and also with Phoenix. We want to get Phoenix on Dark Phoenix mode, so whenever we go for the second shot of this node, we don't have to deal with her. If you leave her alive, it's not terrible, but it's something that you definitely want to avoid. Okay, so we are going to deal with Psylocke now. We are going to use the stun on her. So this is all depending on if you can turn rewind her, if you can ability block her. You don't have to waste the stun right away. And it depends also if you did the ultimate with Ghost Rider. If you did the ultimate with Ghost Rider, you don't have to waste the ultimate with Spider-Man. So you have to have all these situations into consideration. Okay, so we are going to use the special of Dr. Voodoo on Magic. So she is attacked by Psylocke and also by Corvus Glaive. So that keeps her very low. We are going to get Phoenix on Dark Phoenix mode. And like this, next turn, when we attack the node once again, we will not have to deal with her. So that's a huge help. Okay, so she gets those evades, very annoying. You get some big damage there, but we have a bunch of the death proofs on Dr. Voodoo. It's very important that you do his passive T4 to make sure that he has a nice amount of death proofs. We lost our OG Spider-Man, and we have to get this girl on Dark Phoenix mode. It's the most important thing right now. Nothing else matters. So you want to focus on her as much as possible. And that's it. So she's on Dark Phoenix mode. Now it's irrelevant. You want to preferably die before the enemies have their turns. Otherwise they are going to heal with all these regens. So that was a good thing. We died as soon as she dropped on Dark Phoenix mode, so she doesn't heal up with those regens. Okay, so now we are going to finish off the node. We are going to use our remaining Web Warriors and Dark Hunters. We have Miles, we have Spider-Punk, we have Scarlet Spider, and we have Elsa Bloodstone. My Elsa Bloodstone, she's quite small, and that's why I save her for last, because it's not going to be super important. We just need another body there to take some damage. And we are going to rely a little bit on luck to get the dodges on the right characters to make sure that our characters stay alive. So now we have the Corvus Glaive. You want to remove the offense up as fast as possible, and you want to remove him as fast as possible. After Corvus Glaive is gone, you have Magic and Psylocke, two very slow characters. And that's great because you have enough time with your Web Warriors that can get speed up. This is why we have these Web Warriors together. They can get speed up, they can get offense up, and then you just have to slowly poke them away. You want to make sure that Elsa Bloodstone gets removed first. So after your Web Warriors can deal with them. Okay, so we go with Miles to remove the positive effects from Magic. She had a counter, she had all those things. Then you want to remove Psylocke, because Psylocke together with Magic, they have the drain, so they can recover quite a lot, and that means that they will get the evade and counter constantly. So on this situation, focus Corvus Glaive, focus Psylocke, leave Magic for last. She is very slow character, 100 speed, and you can manipulate that in your advantage in order to leave magic for last and then slowly ship her away, and then we have nothing to worry about. So yeah, the node number 10, it's all about the first attack, making sure that all those priority targets get destroyed. And make sure you also have the right ISO weight. It's going to be very important that you have Skirmisher on OG Spider-Man. On Ghost Spider, you can use her as a Skirmisher, Striker, or Raider. I prefer to use her as a Skirmisher because many times when she's spreading the negative effects, they also get resisted, and that's a huge problem, and then it's over. I hated this event. I think the Scourge event the difficulty should be 100% based on the Scourges and not on this RNG. It's unacceptable that we have 6% chance on node number 5 of having a good attempt. It's not 6% chance of winning, it's 6% chance of having an attempt. That's just disgusting. And on node number 10, we have even less than that. They double down and we have just 4% chance of dealing with that node. Now, there is another strategy that you can use to beat these. I cannot talk about it. I promised that I could not talk about it. I will talk about it on the second time that this event comes around, so you can get your Morgan Le Fay to 7 yellow stars and so on. But unfortunately, that's the information I can give you. In the future, I can give you more information, but that's all for now. I hope you understand. It's a problem with the leaderboards. We cannot give all the information, otherwise people will take our places and we will not get fair rewards. Okay, so as you can see, 1,780,000, that was pretty decent. I could get a lot higher, and I will make another video saying how can you get a pretty nice amount of points, like 1,500,000, around that. It's not enough to get to top 500, but it's good enough, or at least it should be good enough for top 2,000. So make sure you stay tuned for that video, and I hope you guys enjoy this long journey through the Pestilence event on difficulty 8 with over 200 Scourges. And I hope you guys found the information helpful, as much information as I can give, unfortunately. Once again, I'm going to give you some tips on how can you get 1,500,000 points in another video. I need to sort it out exactly. And that's going to be all for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. And if you found the information helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content. And I will catch you guys later.